Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Madhav Jayo Radha Madhav Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Shri Radha Madhava ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nasta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 13, chapter entitled Dhritarashtra Quits Home, text number 40. karṇadhāra ivāpāre bhagavān pāra-darśakaḥ athābabhāṣe bhagavān nārado muni-sattamaḥ karṇadhāra ivāpāre bhagavān pāra-darśakaḥ athābabhāṣe bhagavān nārado muni-sattamaḥ karṇadhāra ivāpāre bhagavān pāra-darśakaḥ athābabhāṣe bhagavān nārado muni-sat-tamaḥ. Please chant. karṇadhāra ivāpāre bhagavān pāra-darśakaḥ athābabhāṣe bhagavān nārado muni-sat-tamaḥ karṇadhāra ivāpāre bhagavān pāra-darśakaḥ athābabhāṣe bhagavān nārado muni-sat-tamaḥ. Matajis. karṇadhāra ivāpāre bhagavān pāra-darśakaḥ athābabhāṣe bhagavān nārado muni-sat-tamaḥ karṇadhāra ivāpāre bhagavān pāra-darśakaḥ athābabhāṣe bhagavān nārado muni-sat-tamaḥ karṇadhāraḥ, captain of the ship. Eva, like apāre, in the extensive oceans. Bhagavān, representative of the Lord. pāra-darśakaḥ, one who can give directions to the other side. Atha, thus, ābabhāṣe, began to stay. began to say, Bhagavān, the godly personality, nāradaḥ, the great sage Nārada, muni-sattamaḥ, the greatest among the devotee philosophers. Yeah. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: You are like a captain of a ship in a great ocean, and you can direct us to our destination. Thus address the godly personality, Devarṣi Nārada, greatest of philosophers, devotees, began to speak. Kindly repeat. You are like a captain of a ship in a great ocean, and you can direct us to our destination. Thus address the godly personality, Devarṣi Nārada, greatest of the philosophers, devotees, began to speak. Purport. There are different types of philosophers, and the greatest of all of them are those who have seen the personality of Godhead and have surrendered themselves in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Among all such pure devotees of the Lord, Devarṣi Nārada is the chief, and therefore he has been described herein as the greatest of all philosopher devotees. Unless one has become a sufficiently learned philosopher by hearing the Vedānta philosophy from a bona fide spiritual master, one cannot be a learned philosopher devotee. One must be very faithful, learned, and renounced. Otherwise, one cannot be a pure devotee. I'd like to repeat that statement again. This is a heavy statement, is it? One must be very faithful, learned, and renounced. Otherwise, one cannot be a pure devotee. A pure devotee of the Lord can give us direction towards the other end of nations. Devarṣi Nārada used to visit the palace of Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira because the Pandavas were all pure devotees of the Lord, and the Devarṣi was always ready to give them good counsel whenever needed. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Udmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedānta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam panglunglam hayate girim. Yat kripatamham vande Sri Gurun Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram. Katanchana smrite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam shat Sri Chaitanya namamitam. So I will read the translation again. You are like a captain of a ship in a great ocean, and you can direct us to our destination. Thus address the godly personality, Devarṣi Nārada, greatest of the philosopher devotees, began to speak. Hare Krishna. So it's very interesting here that Narad Muni is addressed as Bhagavān. Bhagavān means one who possesses 6 opulences in full, or basically the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But here Narad Muni is addressed as Bhagavān, and in fact the word Bhagavān mentioned twice in this verse. Yeah, and uniquely Srila Prabhupada give the translation slightly different, but of course the same. The first one is that representative of the Lord, And then the second word of the bhagavān here, Prabhupada translated as the godly personality. Well, basically the same thing, right? The representative of the Lord should be a godly person. So, Narad Muni is addressed here by Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj just like the captain of a ship. Yeah, we are all actually here in this material world trying to cross over the material existence. Yeah, samasritasye padapallava plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare bham budir vatsa padam param padam 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 yadvi padam natesham. So this material world is like big ocean, but it become, if we take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, yeah, of course through his pure devotees, yeah. So this material existence, the ocean, the vast ocean, will become vatsa padam, means water contained in a hoof print of a calf. It shrink, become very small and easy for us to cross over. Because Krishna's lotus feet here, it is described as the param padam, the topmost shelter. So we are here in the material ocean. We are being tossed here and there by the waves of the three modes of material nature. If we take shelter at Krishna's lotus feet, so it's easy for us to cross over the material existence. And Narad Muni here, or actually the spiritual master or a pure devotee, the acharya, is compared just like a person who give direction while we cross over the material existence, just like a captain. So a ship without captain, it will lose its direction. Yeah, nrideham adyam sulabam sudurlabam plavam sukalpam guru karṇadhāram maya kuluena nabasvate ritam puman bhavabdir nātaret sātmaḥ. So the word karṇadhāram is used here. Karṇadhāra means the captain. So Guru Karṇadhāram, so Guru or the spiritual master or the Acharya is compared to a karṇadhāra, a captain. So Nrideham Adyam Sulabam Sudurlabam. So the human form of life is compared just like a ship. Yeah, this deha, this ship, is Sulabam Sudurlabam. Sulabam means easy to obtain. In what sense easy to obtain? You just need to wait for 8,400,000 lifetimes and you will get a human form of life. It's by default you're going to get a human form of life. But the verse mentioned that Sulabam Sudurlabam, but it's very difficult to obtain. Why? Because it's 8,400,000 after a long cycle of life. Yeah. And then, so it's like plavam sukalpam, the human form of life compared just like the boat or a ship. And then Guru Karṇadhāram, the spiritual master, is compared just like the captain who gives direction. Guru Karṇadhāram. And then Krishna says, Maya anukulena nabasvate ritam. And my words in the Vedas is just like the favorable wind, blowing to help to push the ship moving. Puman bhavabdir nātaret sātmaḥ. And then after getting the human form of life, if we don't utilize it, we are considered to be atmaha. Means atma hatya, the killer of the soul. Well, we know the basic philosophy in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, the soul is eternal. Na jayate namriyati va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyaha. Nainam chindanti sastrani nainam bhavati pavakaha. So the soul cannot be cut into pieces by any weapon. So the soul is eternal. But what does it mean when we say here atmaha, or the killer of the soul? That means we are not allowing ourselves to progress in Krishna consciousness. Even Prabhupada explained, even desiring to merge in the impersonal Brahman is considered to be an atmaha. Because if we desire to merge in the impersonal Brahman or in Brahma Jyoti, so we have this imagination to merge with God, or nullifying our existence. But as an individual soul, we are all unique individuality. We have this individuality, and that cannot be destroyed. So, yeah, the spiritual master, the acharya, is like the captain of the ship. Very important aspect. In fact, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in the Nectar of Devotion, in chapter 6, Srila Rupa Goswami started to give us, many angas of bhakti. There are 64 angas of bhakti. And the first 3, Rupa Goswami explained as very important. Adau Guru Ashraya, to take shelter of the spiritual master. And then Diksha, being initiated by the spiritual master and learn how to discharge devotional service. And then the third one is that Guru Seva, obey his order. So of course the first 10 angas of bhakti mentioned as the pravriti or the dues. And then from 11 to 20 is the nivriti or the dons. But amongst these, actually Rupa Goswami explained, amongst these 64, the first 20 is important. But amongst these 20, the first 3 angas of bhakti is very important. And of course, in general, amongst all the 64 angas, there are 5 most potent angas. Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravana, Srimurti Rasradaya Seva, Mathura Bhasha. So, yes. And great devotee like Nārada is a very special personality. He is addressed here as the greatest philosopher devotee. He knows the Krishna Tattva. He is a Krishna Tattva-wit. One who knows the science of Krishna Tattva is Narad Muni here, the greatest philosopher devotee. And interestingly, the meaning of the word Nārad, Nārada. Nara stands for Narayan and Da for Dadati. Dadati means to give. Nectar of instruction. Dadati pratigrinati. Dadati means to give. So Narada means one who gives Narayan. Whoever he meets, Narad Muni, whoever he meets, will turn into devotee. There are so many examples, like Ratnakar, for example. One of the many examples, Ratnakar. He was a robber, but later turned into devotee, and his name is Valmiki. In fact, he got the mercy of Narad Muni that he can compile the Ramayana even before Ramayana started. You see, this is called Kripa Siddhi. There are 2 types of perfection. One is Sadhana Siddhi and the another one is Kripa Siddhi. Sadhana Siddhi means by performing sadhana, practice, we attain perfection. But Kripa Siddhi means just causeless mercy of great devotees. That's why we are always expecting the causeless mercy of great devotees, right? Give me your mercy, give me your, out of causeless mercy. We heard these terms many times, causeless mercy. What does it mean? When a devotee just gives blessings, that's it. And we become perfected in our life. So Narad Muni is a great devotee, and even when he cursed somebody, that's also a blessing. This is the nature of a great devotee. Blessing or a curse, that's actually same thing. For example, when he cursed Manigriva and Nalakwara, very famous story. But what the outcome of that curse is Manigriva and Nalakwara become a great devotee. Satyavrata Muni prays, Kwerat majau bhada murtyaiva yadvat tvayau mochito bhakti bhajau kritaucha. Tata prema bhakti swakame prayacha namokshe graho mesti damodarha. It's very deep actually if we analyze this stanza. So Kwera Atmaja. Atmaja means one who's born from someone, Atmaja. So Kwera Atmaja, the son of Kwera, Manigriva Nalakwara, Bhadau Murtyaiva Yadvat. they become liberated by Krishna's mercy. In the 10th canto, in that section of pastime, Srila Prabhupada comments that actually Lord Krishna doesn't have any business, doesn't have anything to do with Manigriva and Nalakwara. But why Lord Krishna delivered these two personalities? Because of the word of Narad Muni. When they got cursed, so they regretted. And then they, begged for forgiveness. And Narad Muni said, don't worry, you will get the body of trees, Arjuna trees, but you will be delivered by the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Kwerat Majau Bhada Murtyaiva Yadvat. So, they got liberated from the body of the tree. And not only that, but what is the next one? Tvayao mochitao bhakti bhajao kritaucha. Krishna gives bhakti. They instantly become devotees, just getting a little touch from Krishna. And Satyavrata Muni prayed that, what is the third one? Tatha prema bhaktim swakam me prayacha. Swakam means my desire. Shwa means my desire. Swakam, my desire is tatha prema bhakti. I just want that pure love. Namokshe grahomi stidamodareha. I don't want liberation even in the planet of Vaikunta. So pure devotional service is really matter for a pure devotee. Moksha lagutakrit. There are 6 symptoms, 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. Moksha lagutakrit means we are rejecting even liberation. Pure devotee reject even liberation. Yeah. So how to get that pure devotion is by the mercy of great devotee, the guru, the acharyas, pure devotees like Narad Muni especially. Yeah. And while taking shelter of the lotus feet of a spiritual master, we have to be submissive. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada, whenever he talks about guru, so Srila Prabhupada always connect that topic to being submissive. Tad vijnanartam sa gurum eva bhigachet samit pani srotriyam brahmanistam. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned here the line that I was repeated. One must be very faithful, learned, and renounced. Otherwise, one cannot be a pure devotee. Otherwise, one cannot become a pure devotee. So, learned here refers to not only getting the gyan, but also the vijnan. Therefore, tad vijnana artha. Artha means something that we desire. Anartha means something that unwanted. So, tad vijnanatam sa gurum eva bhigachet. First, we have to approach a spiritual master in order to become self-realized. Samit pani srotriyam brahmanistam. And how to approach a spiritual master? With a firewood in our hand. That's how the verse is being translated. With a firewood in our hand, we have to approach spiritual master. What does it mean with firewood? Should we carry a firewood and offer to our guru? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained that this firewood refers to our service attitude. Service attitude. We have to carry service attitude. That means we have to be ready in all time to serve our spiritual master. Submissive and having service attitude. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 34, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. Sevaya is also mentioned. Otherwise, tadvidi, how we can get the spiritual knowledge? First, pranipat, we have to approach submissively. And then, pariprashna, inquire, also in submissive mood. And sevaya. Without service attitude, we cannot get the realization of the knowledge that we heard from the spiritual master. Because service naturally makes us humble. Normally, when you offer yourself to the service, you palm your hand. Prabhu, Mataji, how can I serve you? Right? You bow your head. Naturally, you become humble. Yeah. Just like this. Imagine, there's one cup here. Now you have to use your imagination. Okay, I have 2 cups in my hand. One is filled with water and the another one is empty. How can this empty cup to be filled up with water from the cup which is filled with water? So the position of this empty cup should be lower, right? So my hands with the cup with water here will pour it like this. But if this empty cup being puffed up, putting up its in a high position, then the water just wasted, right? But if this cup being humble and try to catch it from down, then success. So similarly, when we approach devotee or a spiritual master, we have to have this attitude, being humble, inquisitive, of course. Tasmad gurum prapadyeta jigyasu shreya uttama sabde pare chanisnatam brahmani upasamasraya. So this verse is very nicely explaining 2 characteristics of being disciples and 2 characteristics of being a spiritual master. Tasmad gurum prapadyeta. A disciple must approach, must surrender to a spiritual master. Jigyasu shreya uttama. And become a jigyasu means very inquisitive. Inquisitive of what? Shreya uttama, the topic of transcendence. In the one of Srila Prabhupada's lecture to the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2.7, what is that? Karpanya doso verse. There is this word Shreya. Yachreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me. Yeah, Shreya. Srila Prabhupada explained, of course, this Shreya refers to the ultimate goal. But Srila Prabhupada explained there are 2 words actually indicating the future goal. One is Preya and the another one is Shreya. Preya means just for temporary goal, temporary benefit. But Shreya means like for the future, the ultimate goal. Therefore, tad vijnanatam sagurum eva vagachet. Sorry, how is that start? Tasmat gurum prapadyeta jigyasu shreya uttama. Uttama means beyond tama, beyond darkness. So the topic that one must inquire from spiritual master is just about Krishna consciousness. We don't discuss about business with our spiritual master. So that 2 characteristic of being disciple. You should surrender and being inquisitive. And then sabde pare chanisnatam. This is the part of being a spiritual master. Sabde pare chanisnatam. Sabde means the Sabda Brahman, the Vedas. So he should be learned in Vedas. Sabde pare chanisnatam brahmani upasamasraya. And he should be Brahman realized. Of course, our understanding of being Brahman realized is different with the Mayavadis, right? Krishna is the Param Brahma. So in that sense, that Param Brahma is he's the topmost, the supreme person. So he should be a self-realized or Brahman realized, and also he should be learned in the Vedas. Sabde, pare. Pare means higher. So that knowledge, not pertaining to this material world, but, spiritual world, spiritual subject matter. And regarding Narad Muni again, he is being a pure devotee. He is the greatest philosopher devotee here mentioned by Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. He knows the Vedas. Well, of course, but if we trace out his history, how he becomes such a learned, such a pure devotee, so of course he was Upabarhana, he was a Gandharva, and then he was being cursed, become a Dasiputra, become the son of a maidservant. So while being a Dasiputra, he got the chance to associate with the Bhakti Vedantis for 4 months, Chaturmasya for 4 months, serving and hearing, and got the remnants from those Bhakti Vedantis. And next life, he become a pure devotee, from a Gandharva, from a singer, he become the son of a maidservant, and boom, Hare Krishna, become a pure devotee, greatest among the sages, Narad Muni. So what we can learn here is very important aspect of hearing and serving. And of course, if we fortunate enough to get the Maha Prasadam from great devotee, that's very potent. Yeah. So hearing, that's why this line just caught my mind so much. One must be very faithful, learned, and renounced. How to obtain these three things? Because our objective is to become a pure devotee. Prabhupada mentioned here that otherwise one cannot become a pure devotee. So the first step is Sravanam. Yeah. Tachradadana munayo jnana vairagya yuktaya pashyanti atmani chatmanam bhaktya sruta grihitaya. Sruta means hearing. Tachradadana means inquisitive. So the inquisitive student, so by this hearing process, he will develop jnana and vairagya. Jnana means knowledge, vairagya means renunciation. So what about faith now? So being learned and being renounced by the process of hearing. What about faith? Is by hearing. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hrit karna rasayana kataha tajo sarad aswa pavargavatmani sradha rathir bhaktir anukramishyati. So satam prasanga means associating with the devotees. Now what is the most important aspect while associating? Is to discuss about Krishna Katha, Machita Madgata Prana, the second Chatusloki Gita. Yeah? So by getting this association of pure devotees and discuss about Krishna Katha, the nature of Krishna Katha is so pleasing to the ear and the heart. Hrit, karna, rasa, ayanakataha. We get the taste, we get the rasa. It's so pleasing to the ear and to the heart. And then when the ear and the heart is penetrated by Krishna Katha, what happened? Aswa pavargavartmani. The door for liberation is open. Of course, liberation is not our main concern, but it's the byproduct of Krishna consciousness practice. It's automatically gained. Just like when there is some advertisement, if you buy 2 products, you get 1 for free. If you practice Krishna consciousness, you get Krishna prema, this and that, and liberation is the byproduct. Yeah, and then not only liberation, but sraddha, our faith increase. Therefore, sometimes one may feel like, oh, I don't know, I don't really feel that, my faith is not so strong because we are lacking of association of devotees. Sraddha, and then ratir bhaktir. Rati means attraction. We become more attracted toward bhakti when we associate with devotees. Sraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishyati. It actually falls automatically. So sraddha will be derived by association. Of course, when we talk about association, we talk about proper association. Associating with devotees, hearing, having kirtan together, prasadam together. Yeah, it's so nice, Krishna consciousness. So, regarding acharya, regarding acharya and guru, the word guru means also heavy. Yeah, of course, the natural qualities of being a guru is being compassion. Otherwise, why we become a guru if you don't have genuine compassion? Because you have compassion, you want to deliver others. And that's actually a heavy responsibility, being a guru. Guru nasashyat, swajano nasashyat, pita nasashyat, janani nasashyat, daivam natasya napate chasasya, namo chayatya samupetyam rityam. Unless you are able to deliver your dependent from samupetyam rityam, from the repetition of birth and death. The first thing mentioned by Rishabhadev Maharaj is Gurur Nasashyat. One should not become a guru. One should not become a guru, because become a guru means you are responsible for the life of your disciples. You should deliver your disciples from the material existence. So compassion. One time there was a story about Srila Prabhupada. So one time there was a very old man, he was about 60 years old. And then he was approaching His Grace Atma Tattva Prabhu, Atma Tattva Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada's disciple. So this old man expressed his desire. He said that, Prabhuji, I want to become the disciple of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. But I heard that unless you stay in the temple for 6 months and perform some service, you cannot get initiated. But I'm an old man, what to do now? And Atma Tattva Prabhu said, well, no, he was asking Atma Tattva Prabhu, can you recommend me? Can you talk this to Srila Prabhupada? And Atma Tattva Prabhu said, I'm not in any position to talk this, but if you want, you can tell Prabhupada directly. So every 4 o'clock in the late afternoon, Prabhupada used to give darshan. So Atma Tattva Prabhu said that you come tomorrow at 4 o'clock, at darshan time, anybody can go to meet Srila Prabhupada. And he told him that please come early, so you will be the first. And then the next day, Atma Tattva Prabhu told, you are an Indian, it's our culture. You bring some fruit, something for Srila Prabhupada. And then the next day he came. So nobody was there. There is no line. He was the first man who get the chance to take darshan to Srila Prabhupada. And Atma Tattva Prabhu said, there is no line. And Prabhupada is ready to, give darshan. So now you just go. So this old man took, a plate and full of fruit and covered with cloth. And on top of that cloth, he put a new bead. Yeah. And then he entered Prabhupada's room and, he put that items in the front of Prabhupada and offered his obeisances to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, oh, this is your beads? And this man said, yes, Prabhupada. And then this, he's old, his body is shaking, he took his bead and gave to Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, I want to chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said, Srila Prabhupada, I want to chant Hare Krishna. And Prabhupada said, you know how to chant Hare Krishna? This man said, I know the mantra. And then he said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada took that beads and Prabhupada said, yes. So in each of these beads, you chant one mantra. And Prabhupada keep going like that. Chanted the full round of these beads. And how usually he gives initiation? Just like that. So now you chant Hare Krishna. So, and then this man was, overwhelmed, such a mercy from Srila Prabhupada. And after some time, Atma Tattva Prabhu said he visited this man, he kept chanting Hare Krishna. And the second time he went to his house, he passed away. And his family said that the only thing he does before dying, like 3 or 4 days before, nobody could get rid of this bead. He kept chanting Hare Krishna. We may think that he didn't get initiated by Srila Prabhupada, but Srila Prabhupada gave such a mercy. So compassionate, so compassionate. So that's one aspect of Guru, being compassionate. As I mentioned earlier, Guru means heavy. And sometimes, and of course in many occasions also, Srila Prabhupada would chastise his disciples. Yeah. So one time when in Australia, Hariswari Prabhu was serving Srila Prabhupada, so there was nobody there to cook for Srila Prabhupada. At the same time, he has to give massage to Srila Prabhupada. So, he turned on the fire, put things on the stove, like rice, dal, and vegetables in a high flame, And he went to give massage to Prabhupada, and suddenly he smelled something burned from the kitchen, and he ran to the kitchen. Everything was ruined. Rice burned, the dal is also burned, and the vegetable overcooked. These vegetables lose its original form. So it's overcooked. And then Prabhupada noticed and he asked Hariswari Prabhu, so what happened? This is what happened, it's burned, the rice and dal burned, it's now sticking at the bottom of the pot, smells also. And Prabhupada said, you are so dull. Give him chastisement. You are so dull, you don't know how to cook. Because his mistake was putting the fire too high. So, another pastime of Srila Prabhupada being heavy also, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj was also happened to get the chance of being Srila Prabhupada's servant. So Srila Prabhupada, when he needs something, he would ring his bell in his room, Ganta, ting, so the servants would come. And then in one noon, it was summer, Srila Prabhupada rang his bell, and Bhakti Charu Maharaj came, offered obeisances, and Maharaj asked, yes, Prabhupada, how can I serve? Prabhupada said, I want an orange juice. And then Maharaj said, yes, just few minutes. Then he left. And then he went to the kitchen, there was no orange. So he has to go to market to purchase the orange. And Prabhupada was waiting, he kept ringing his bell and he didn't come. And after some time, long of course, and then Maharaj came with the juice. And Prabhupada said, I don't want juice anymore. He was so upset, I don't want juice anymore. Get out. But Bhakti Charu Maharaj was, he was so determined that what to do now. I know it is my mistake, it's been too long, Prabhupada waiting. But what to do with this orange juice now? It's already prepared. So Maharaj just stayed there and just, holding the cup of this orange juice, tried to give to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, I don't want it. My desire is finished for this orange juice. But because of his determination and sincerity, Prabhupada could see and appreciate that. And he took the orange juice. And Prabhupada drank. And now, after drinking this juice, normally Prabhupada rinsed his mouth. So Maharaj forgot this basin with the water to wash Prabhupada's mouth. And then he ran outside, came back and rinsed Prabhupada's mouth. And now he forgot the towel. He forgot the towel for Prabhupada, And then he just grabbed some cloth and gave to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada looked at him. Maharaj, of course, just, looking down his face. He just completely devastated, Maharaj mentioned. So Prabhupada said, I am an old man. Sometimes I lose my temper. You try to satisfy me very much. Prabhupada noticed his sincerity. You try to the best of your ability to satisfy me very much. So sometimes the Guru gives chastisement, but that chastisement is actually one of his greatest form, greatest manifestation of his mercy. Yeah, greatest mercy of the Guru when we are being chastised. Sometimes we may think that, when my Guru Maharaj is smiling, appreciating what I'm doing, that's his mercy. But even when he chastises, not all of us can get chastised directly by our Guru, right? Not all of us. Yeah. I remember His Holiness, what is his name? I forgot. Harikesh Maharaj. Yeah, Harikesh Maharaj also happened to serve Srila Prabhupada, and he failed to make chapati. Maybe you heard this story. So Prabhupada just waiting, where is the chapati? And the chapati was like papad. It's so hard. Prabhupada loves, fresh, puffed up chapati. But he could not make chapati. Well, Harikesh Maharaj is Harikesh Maharaj. He cannot make chapati. And Prabhupada went to the kitchen, start making chapati. And it just popped, And Prabhupada said, easy, right? And Harikesh Maharaj said, yes. And Prabhupada took this hot chapati and slapped on his face. Yes. And Maharaj said, that's actually the greatest ecstasy in my life. Yeah. So, spiritual master, Guru, yeah, compassion, although he chastises, that's actually for our benefit. Lalane bhavo dosas tadane bhavo gunaha tasmat putram cha shishyam cha tadayet na tulalayet. Chanakya Pandit said that if we don't chastise our son, putra, if you happen to be a parent, or our disciple, sishya, if you happen to be guru, lalani, he will become spoiled. So when a guru chastises his disciple, he just tried to rectify our mistakes. That's it. And that's out of his compassionate mercy. So Narad Muni, come back to this verse again. Narad Muni, he is so compassionate. Whomever he meets, instantly those personalities will become great devotees, because it's just like the captain of the ship, giving proper direction to cross over the material existence. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, emphasizing in the 7th canto, that naisam matistavad urukramangrim sprisatyanartha pagamo yadartaha mahiyasam pāra-darśakaḥ bisekam niskinchananam navrinityavat. So how to get rid from this anartha? We all have some certain anarthas in our heart. Mahiyasam pāra-darśakaḥ bisekam. Take the dust of the lotus feet of a great devotee and abhishek, pour all over our head. So it's very important aspect to surrender to a guru, to serve great personalities, great devotees, in our advancement in Krishna consciousness. I thank you very much. We still have 5 minutes. Whether any question or comments, you are welcome. Mataji, Hare Krishna. So thank you so much. I just repeat your question. So Mataji's question is that how can we know, how we can guess a pure Vaishnavas? It's hard. It's hard. Bhismadev, grandfather Bhismadev, in the 1st canto, before leaving his body, he mentioned it. What is that? I forgot how the verse starts, but he said that to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very, very difficult. And Prabhupada writes in his Purport that to understand Krishna is very difficult, and even more difficult than that is that to understand a pure devotee. So how to know that someone is a pure devotee or not? Well, we cannot judge the book by seeing its cover, right? How to know? It's very difficult. Of course, the symptoms of a pure devotee is being niskinchan, niskinchananam namvrinityavat. Niskinchan means he has no material desire. He has no material desire. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many examples of great devotees who wealthy. Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj. But they are all niskinchan. Niskinchan means has no material desire. Savayamana Krishna Padara Vindayori. Always think about Krishna's lotus feet. Vacham Sivai Kunta Gunanu Varani. He always discuss about Krishna's pastime. Karau Harir Mandira Marjanadi. So Srutim Chakara Chutasat Kato Jai. He always eager to hear the narration of the Lord. He always eager to hear the narration of Bhagavatam. Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite. He's tasting the tulasi offered to the lotus feet of the Lord with great jubilation. Karau Harir Mandira Marjanadi. So, he used his body, he used his hand to cleanse Krishna's temple. Padau Harir Kshetra Padanu Sarpani. He used his leg to travel, to go to Krishna's temple. These are some of the symptoms. The main thing is that Kamam Chadashe Natu Kama Kamyaya Yato Tamasloka Janasraya Ratihi. That's main important. That's main thing here. Kamam Chadashe. His only desire, his only kama is to serve. Janasraya Ratihi. His only attraction is devotional service. So pure devotees, the symptom of pure devotee is his service attitude. Doesn't matter where he is, he just wants to serve. Narayana para sarve na kutaschana bibyate swarga pavarga narakesu apitulyartha darsina. Whether he is in heaven, swarga, narakesu, in hell, or apavarga, in the spiritual world, getting liberation, doesn't matter, because he always have this desire to serve. The best example given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, of course there's so many examples. One is that Sivananda Sen, He is a very rich grihastha, but he utilized everything. He sponsored the devotees who travel from Bengal to Puri, everything, accommodation and prasadam. He is very wealthy, but he uses all his wealth in the service of the Lord and the Lord's devotees. Nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. That's the principle here. We connect everything to Krishna. Another pure devotee, of course, very unique in the Chaitanya Charitamrita is Kalidas. He loves to steal the dust of another devotee's feet, Kalidas. And he is very eager to get the remnant, the Maha from another devotee. So one time he visited Jadu Thakur and his wife. Jadu Thakur is belong to the Sudra caste, but he is a great devotee because he is a devotee of the Lord. So he brought some mango, and he was asking, so Jadu Thakur, please give me the dust of your lotus feet. Jadu Thakur said, no, I'm just a Sudra. And then all right, he left, but he hid somewhere. So after Jadu Thakur eating this mango, and his wife throw that mango in the garbage place. After they enter their house, Kalidas came out and took this, seed which is already mixed with garbage and enjoyed it, and he was in ecstasy. So how to see pure devotee? We cannot judge by its appearance, by his appearance, because we don't know, we are not the Paramatma. But by certain thing we can see, okay, he has service attitude, and he is very eager to serve the Lord, to serve the Vaishnavas, and he try sincerely to connect himself to the movement. So Prabhupada one time was asked, so Prabhupada, how many pure devotees do we have in ISKCON? Have you heard these pastimes? How many pure devotees we have in ISKCON? Prabhupada said, how many people chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regulative principles? Because when we talk about pure devotees, there are hierarchy, there are different levels of pure devotees. But at least by chanting 16 rounds and following the 4 regulative principles, why we need to follow the 4 regulative principles? In order to be free from sin. Those who are free from sin considered to be pure. So we may have some defect here and there, but we try. So in that way, actually, we are pure. Prabhupada said we cannot judge somebody who's under the shower to be dirty, because he is in the process. Very soon he will be clean. Ksipram bhavati dharmatma sasvachantim nigachati konteya prati janihi nami bhakta pranashati. Krishna says Ksipram bhavati dharmatma. Very soon he will be re-established in his position of being a pure devotee. Of course, the previous verse mentioning that apichet suduracharo bhajante mamananya bhak sadur eva samantavyak samyak vyavasito isaha. Even if we see a devotee may perform some, abominable activities, but because he remained chaste in the process, because we are imperfect, full of defect, he remained chaste in the process, so very soon he will become pure devotee. Hare Krishna. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.